Rising out of the cold waters of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz looks unremarkable at first glance. Yet this small island has carried many lives across its history, as a fortress, a prison, protest site, and museum. For some, it symbolized security and order. For others, oppression and silence. Today, it has become a mirror, reflecting how societies have chosen to punish, to confine, and perhaps eventually to listen. And this is why Alcatraz has a life of its own, because every stone, every cell, every echoing corridor carries stories not just of the past, but of the present. Stories that ask us what justice really means. Alcatraz's story began not as a prison, but as a fortress. In the 1850s, with California newly absorbed into the United States, the government fortified the island with heavy artillery. It was to stand as a bulwark, guarding the gateway to the American West. But Alcatraz's isolation soon shaped its destiny. By the Civil War, it became a military prison, first for Confederate sympathizers, and later for conscientious objectors, and eventually for Native Americans resisting US expansion. Even then, before its famous transformation, Alcatraz was already a place of containment, a site where the state drew lines of control across both land and people. In 1934, amid the turmoil of the Great Depression and rising organized crime, Alcatraz became America's most notorious federal prison. It was reserved for those considered too dangerous, too defiant, or simply too famous to be held elsewhere. Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. Their names turned the Rock into legend. The prison was designed to break spirit as much as body. Cells were 5 feet wide, solitary confinement was frequent, and the rules left little space for humanity. Yet even here, resistance found a way. In 1946, prisoners staged a violent escape attempt, remembered as the Battle of Alcatraz. And in 1962, 3 men, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, vanished into the dark waters on a makeshift raft. Did they drown, or did they succeed in escaping the inescapable? The question still lingers, keeping Alcatraz alive in public imagination. In 1963, the federal government shut down the prison. Its costs were too high, its buildings decaying. For a moment, Alcatraz fell silent. But silence did not last. In 1969, Native American activists, the Indians of All Tribes movement, occupied the island. They claimed it under the 1868 treaty that allowed Native peoples to reclaim unused federal land. And for 19 months, they lived on Alcatraz, transforming a site of confinement into a stage of resistance. The occupation electrified indigenous activism across the United States. It drew attention to broken treaties, systemic injustice, and cultural erasure. What was once a place meant to strip people of their voices became a platform where voices rang out. And Alcatraz's meaning shifted once again, from fortress to prison, from prison to protest. But today, Alcatraz is one of the most visited historic sites in the United States. Millions of tourists walk its cell blocks, listening to the recorded voices of former guards and even inmates. The echoes of footsteps mingle with the stories of punishment, resistance, and survival. But Alcatraz is not just a tourist destination. It may close, but the questions it raises about justice, power, and freedom never disappear. And those questions remain urgent today. The United States still has the highest incarceration rate in the world, and debates about prison reform, systemic racism, and human rights show that the struggle over justice is far from finished. Alcatraz's walls may therefore be empty, but its silence forces us to ask, how should we treat those we choose to confine? And what kind of society are we building when prisons multiply faster than solutions? Alcatraz is more than just an island. It is a mirror, a place that reveals how societies balance power and resistance, silence and voice, confinement and freedom. Its life has been many things, fortress, prison, stage for protest, and museum. And in each of those lives is reflected back not only the people who passed through its walls, the choices a society has made about justice. Today, those choices still echo loudly. We live in a world where prisons are overcrowded, where punishment often outweighs rehabilitation, and where entire communities, particularly the poor and marginalised, continue to feel the weight of systemic inequality. The questions Alcatraz forces us to ask are the same ones we face now. Who do we silence? Who do we lock away? And what does that say about us as a society? But perhaps Alcatraz also carries another lesson, that even the harshest places can be reclaimed, reimagined, and given new voices. That transformation reminds us that change is possible, that the past does not have to imprison us, but can instead guide us towards something better.